What's up, Met fans? Welcome back. Talking Mets at Rob. How's everybody doing? Before I get started talking about the Mets opening day preview, don't forget, guys, if you enjoy this video, hit on that like button. If you enjoy all my content, want to see more, want to get notified when I post my videos and when I go live, hit on that subscribe button, everybody. And don't forget to leave a comment under this video. All right, guys. So, finally, the New York Mets are finally going to play a game. Are going to open up their season. None other than our NL East rival, the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, we already seen the Phillies already took advantage of the first two games of the series against the Braves, and they've looked good. And they're 2-0 right now, while the Braves are 0-2. So the Phillies are riding with a little bit of motivation right now. You know, they got a little confidence building. They do got to play the Braves again today on Sunday. But going into the Mets series, they can either be 2-1 and 3-0. And, you know, if they become 3-0, they're gonna be riding on a big time confidence. And, you know, they do have a solid team, but the biggest issue they're gonna have is the middle of that rotation, because you see Nola and Wheeler, the dominance that they had against the Braves. Those two guys, a lot of people didn't have to worry about. But it's the pitchers that the Mets will probably be facing in their third starter and their fourth starter. And their fourth starter is basically Matt Moore. So Matt Moore basically is a left-handed pitcher who, again, with this Mets lineup, 5 out of the 8 guys in this lineup are left-handed batters. So it's already going to be a test for this Mets team and this Mets lineup against Matt Moore. Now, Matt Moore is not a great pitcher. He's probably really not that good, but he's still a left-handed pitcher that some guys might have problems with. I'm not too worried about McNeil. I'm not too worried about Smith. And Lindor is a switch hitter, but at the moment, he will be batting right-handed. So it's a little better when it comes to this lineup. But even when Lindor is switch hitting and batting on the right side with a left-hander, you still got 4. So you kind of split it in the middle. You got 4 left-handers, 4 right-handers. So it balances it out a little bit. But again, we got to see how this lineup is against left-handed pitchers. And Matt Moore takes the mound against our ace, Jacob deGrom. Now, Jacob deGrom, as we already know, was supposed to pitch on opening day in Washington on April 1st. Obviously, because of COVID, the entire series against Washington was postponed. And now that the Mets have a little bit of a disadvantage because they have not played a game since the end of March. And it wasn't really a game where a lot of the players played. So they haven't played in a while. They played a couple of scrimmage games, a couple in Washington. They're now in Philly. So they haven't really played real live action against another team since spring training. So I'm a little worried about that. I am worried that deGrom has a couple of more off days from his last start in spring training. That's never a good thing. He did pitch a bullpen yesterday, but at the end of the day, I do worry about that, and it probably means that Jacob deGrom is probably not going to go deep into the game, probably not into the 7th, 8th inning, unless his pitch count is extremely low. And if I'm not mistaken, Jacob deGrom actually pitched about 85 to 90 pitches his last outing in spring training. So you can expect him to pitch between 80 and 90 pitches. I don't think he'll go much more than that. Again, unless he has less pitches, he might be later in the game. So that comes into the fact that the bullpen is going to have to close out a game if the Mets got the lead, or hold the Phillies to a certain lead that might happen during the game. So what we see right now with the Mets opening day, starting the season in Philadelphia, unfortunately we did miss the first 3 games of the season, but I am excited. Finally, the Mets are going to play some real baseball. The Mets and the Phillies, Monday, April 5th at 7:05. I will be attending Monday and Tuesday games, so I will be in Philly. So check out my live videos pre and post game in Philadelphia in the next couple of days. So guys, check that out. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into the Mets opener against the Phillies. So we know that the Phillies offense is very, very good. With Realmuto, Harper, Hoskins, Didi. There's a lot of guys that are really, really good in this lineup. They can score runs. There's no doubt about that. With Jacob deGrom, you're not expecting more than probably 2 runs, if that. But the Phillies lineup is dangerous. It's one of the best parts of their team. Again, Matt Moore is the one pitching for the Phillies for their 4th game. So, Matt Moore is not a great pitcher. We already know that. But, again, the big thing about this Phillies team is their lineup. Their rotation is not that good. But, at the end of the day, if the Mets can score runs against the middle part of the rotation against this Phillies team, they have a pretty good chance of winning, especially with deGrom, Stroman, and Walker filling out. Or actually, I'm mistaken. It will be deGrom, Stroman, Peterson in Philadelphia. So that's a pretty good chance that the Mets have a pretty good chance to win this series, if not sweep. But Nola is pitching the Wednesday game against the Mets. So it'll be Peterson and Nola. But with this Phillies team, their bullpen has looked solid for the first 2 games of the season. Now, it's not a lot to look at, but they still have gotten better because that's been their Achilles heel the last couple of years. And they seem like they're doing a pretty good job at solidifying those issues, and the bullpen did look good against Atlanta the last 2 games. Now, we'll see what happens on Sunday, but right now, the first 2 games, they looked really, really well. When it comes to the Mets, we know the offense. That is something that we expect them to score a lot of runs. We got a few new faces in this lineup with McCann and Lindor. They can be a big time part of this lineup. I don't expect much from McCann offensively, but Lindor, he's going to be in the middle of the lineup looking like he's batting second, most likely. But it's really possible that Lindor might get bumped down to the 3rd position, only because of the left-handed pitcher that Matt Moore is. So I'm interested to see what Luis Rojas will do with this lineup, knowing that there's a lefty on the mound to start the season for the Mets. So, the lineup, we expect to score runs. That's a guarantee. We expect that. We understand that. But, after deGrom, can we expect a bullpen to hold the lead? There's not a lot of guys we can trust. You expect if deGrom goes 6 innings, you're going to see Trevor May. You're going to see possibly Familia. You might see Loop. You might see, Loop's going to be a big part of this. It's going to be very important for this bullpen, especially in this series against Harper and against Didi Gregorius. So, Loop's going to be a very important piece of this series. He's probably going to come into the game once or twice during this series. It's going to be an interesting thing because the Mets only have 1 left-hander in this bullpen. So Rojas has to pick spots for Loop wisely, or it's going to be a problem later in the game when you don't have a left-handed batter when Didi and Harper comes up, and then you have problems. And then obviously Diaz to close out the game. Hopefully that goes all well. I expect the Mets to win this series. I expect the Mets to win tomorrow on opening day for the Mets. That's not the issue. The issue is the bullpen. It's still been the bullpen. Unfortunately, Sandy Alderson and the Mets did not do enough in this bullpen, and this can be the Achilles heel for this Mets team in the 2021 season. But we're going to think positive because it's the first game of the season for the Mets. We waited 4 days until the Mets can actually play a game because of COVID with Washington. So I'm pumped. I know you guys are pumped. Can't wait to get down to Philadelphia tomorrow. Check out all my live videos that I will be posting in Philadelphia, my pre-game for tomorrow and my post-game for tomorrow. Pre and post game for the Tuesday game. So I want you guys to also check that out. So, Mets, Phillies, April 5th, 7:05. Jacob deGrom against Matt Moore is the pitching matchup. 2 big-time lineups, big offensive lineups in the NL East, the Phillies and the Mets. There might possibly be a lot of runs scored, and I think it's going to be on the Mets side because Matt Moore is obviously a lot less of a pitcher than Jacob deGrom. So I do expect the Mets to pull out a victory here. It'd be nice to, the Mets are one of the best teams in baseball on opening day with their first game of the season. So let's hope for that, guys. Let's hope for a lot of runs. Let's beat the Phillies. Foo Philly. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit on that like button. If you enjoy all my content, want to see more, want to get notified when I post my videos and when I go live, hit on that subscribe button, everybody. Don't forget, guys, hit on that. Show me your comments. Let me know about this video. Let me know what you think about the season. Thank you again for watching, and as always, let's go Mets.